If you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Okay, guys, it is Wednesday, January 9th, and it is 8:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, I've got just a couple housekeeping items to go over. I'm sure you'll notice I've got a little bit of a different setup here tonight, and I didn't think I would be able to come to you at all tonight because my kitten, which last night or yesterday actually had chewed through my webcam. Well, I went out and got another webcam, a much better webcam, and the kitten, I turned my back because I wanted to get some duct tape to reinforce the cords, and in that minute it took me to turn around and get duct tape out of my closet. The kitten had just about chewed through this one as well. So then I reinforced it and realized she had chewed through, or he had chewed through my my microphone. So hopefully I've got the wires put together, back together, so that they work. It took me a while, but I was determined that I wasn't going to make another trip into town to get another new piece of equipment. So I'm hoping this will do me for a bit. Oh my gosh, this kitten is more work than I ever imagined. I've never had a cat chew like this ever in my life. Anyway, that is my problem and not yours. So anyway, we are going to be doing some Q-related news tonight, and we've got lots of it. Been a very, very interesting day. I don't even know how else to put it. It's just been interesting. There's probably a much better word, but I can't think of it right now. But also, I just wanted to mention quickly that if the sound is not okay, or if you feel like I'm like right in your face and that is just too much of a good thing, let me know. I am very open. I don't have thin skin, so don't worry about insulting me. I mean, if you say something like, "Hey, you ugly piece of crap," yeah, that might hurt my feelings a little bit, but generally people are quite kind here to one another, so that's good. Anyway, let's get into the news, shall we? All right. Now, I have to like not breathe because, my my equipment's being held together with like duct tape and spit. But anyway, this is the first thing I wanted to show you. I saw this late last night and I giggled and giggled like a crazy person. Not sure why I found it so funny, but I guess when I think about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I think about her napping, in the Supreme Court. So I thought this was cute. Fly, Ruth, fly. And of course, this is the third day that she has not been in court. So time will tell. I'm thinking that she's on her way out, and I don't wish her ill health at all. I don't agree with her politics, but she is a human being, and I do pray that she recovers from her cancer. Anyway, let's go on to the next thing here. I thought this was clever. The Bradford File from Twitter says President Trump made the case for border security and wall funding. Yes, he did. Schumer and Pelosi made the case for term limits. Yes, they did. Absolutely. I have never seen anything so creepy in my entire life as Pelosi and Schumer. What was that? No, really, what was it? Dang creepy is what that was. Dang creepy. Anyway, we'll get into that in a bit. Let's go here because we've got a lot of wall-related stuff tonight. And this, 1 second here. Whoops. Okay, Vice President Mike Pence says President Trump asked Speaker Pelosi if Democrats would support border wall funding if government were reopened quickly. When she said no, the president said goodbye. Now, there's a lot of debate about what really happened in there because the Democrats are saying something very, very different than the other people are. So Pence is saying, no, this is what happened. Trump asked Pelosi, look, because she said, look, we're not going to negotiate until you open the government. Well, Trump said, okay, well, what if I open the government? Then will I get a wall? Will we build the wall then? No. Well, what do they have to discuss then? I mean, as it is, this is all just optics. Really, it's to show everyone what is really happening there and what Trump has to work with. I don't know how the guy gets anything done, personally. I really don't, because they were all for the wall, when it was Obama or someone else building it. Oh, they're all for the wall then, or a fence or whatever. But now that Trump wants it, well, that's a whole different story. They can't go along with that. Anyway, they care more about their own power and politics than they do about the safety of the American people. That's for darn sure. Anyway, let's go back and see what else has transpired today. Lots. And of course, this is the tweet from Donald J. Trump. Just left a meeting with Chuck and Nancy. A total waste of time. I asked what is going to happen in 30 days if I quickly open up. Are you going to approve border security, which includes a wall or steel barrier? Nancy said no. I said, bye-bye. Nothing else works. It's true. And they know it works. Otherwise, they wouldn't have those big old fences around their houses now, would they? And actually, it's interesting because I was reading that, I was going to say the left media, but all the media is left now, and they've left leave of their senses too. But anyway, they were saying, Trump supporters were lying about the wall around Obama's house. It's not 10 feet tall, and Trump was lying about that. Well, actually, somebody went, and not only is there one wall, which is 10 feet high, there are 7 walls. 7. I don't know. I'm just going by what this person is saying. They wanted to verify it because they wanted to see who was telling the truth. The media is saying, oh no, there's no wall there. No wall there. And Trump saying, no, there's a 10-foot wall around Obama's house. There is. And that's not the only one. So obviously, if walls don't work, why are they wasting their money on walls? Don't know. Anyway, let's go on here. We got lots of good stuff today. Don't you feel like I'm like all up in your face? Yeah, might be too much of a good thing. All right.
I just listened to Senator Schumer.
GOP leader. I just listened to Senator Schumer. I know he complained the time that you had cameras in the meeting. I think we need to bring them back because what he described the meeting to be is totally different than what took place. Let's listen to that.
I know he complained the time that you had cameras in the meeting. I think we need to bring them back. Because what he described the meeting to be was totally different than what took place. When we entered the room, the president, again, calling all the leaders together to solve this problem. He even brought a little candy for everybody. He started off talking a little bit about wanting to get this solved. He even spoke last night saying in 45 minutes, he says, but I think we could do it in 10. I want to turn the floor over, the president said, to Speaker Pelosi and Schumer. Tell us what offer you have, because we all had in our hands, from the weekend's work of the vice president, and every office had staff there, about where we were. The different offers, the increases of the work that you've done to secure this border. So we turned to Speaker Pelosi. She again to argue whether we even have a crisis or whether facts are true. Turned to Schumer again, who said we just have to open the government up. The president would go back and forth in a negotiation in a very respectful way. I saw Schumer continue to raise his voice. The president then turned to the speaker and politely asked her, okay, Nancy, if we open the government up in 30 days, could we have border security? She raised her hand and said, no, not at all. The president calmly said, I guess you're still not wanting to deal with the problem. The president wants to solve this problem. That's why he continues to bring us down. That's why he's put offers on the table. Not once have the Democrats offered anything back. The entire time I've been in these meetings, they want to just argue so people can't present a fact. They want to argue and debate whether what comes across the southern border. People.
And that's something, I'm not going to play the rest of this, but that's something that I noticed, after Trump spoke last night. You've got Pelosi and Schumer looking extremely creepy. I mean, creepy, man. And they're there, and I don't know if you noticed this, but go back and look at this video. I don't want to take the time to, because, I think it would drive somebody crazy if they weren't interested looking at this. But Schumer does not blink for the first, and it was driving me crazy. I was just like nails down a chalkboard. I was like, what's wrong with him? The man did not blink. He did not blink. Go back and see it. He didn't blink. Near the end, he blinked, but he didn't blink. And I was like, what is with this man? I can't go that long without blinking. I don't know about you, but I was like, oh my gosh, your eyes must be like sandpaper. Anyway, just creepy, those two. And my whole point in bringing that up was they didn't offer any, you would think that gave them the perfect opportunity. Here's Trump saying, we need this wall. They could have countered that. No, we don't need a wall because no facts, nothing. They didn't bring any facts, they don't have any bargaining chips. Like, okay, we don't think, we don't want a wall this big, but we'll agree to a fence. No, it's just no barrier, no wall. That's it. It's like, I don't know. How do you deal with that? How do you have a conversation? How do you negotiate with somebody that won't negotiate? It's non-negotiable. It's my way or the highway. And I know that people are saying that about Trump, but Trump is actually got people behind him. He's got the will of the people. That's why he got elected, is the whole wall. So we know that Trump is doing what he's doing because that's the will of the people. He knows that's the best way to keep Americans safe. And you know what? When it comes to it, so do they. So does Nancy and Chuck. They know. They just don't want to give in to Trump. It's all politics, because you know what? They don't want him to get elected in 2020. They don't want him to keep his campaign promises because it makes him look too good. Yeah. Anyway, all about politics to them. Now let's go to this. Takes so long. Oh, yes. Okay, this isn't to do with the wall, but I do think it's interesting. Hillary Clinton wants New York State to legalize abortions up to birth. There's no time to wait, she said. Well, wait a minute. I don't know if you follow her on Twitter. I do. I know. I would rather have my eyes dug out with spoons, but I do like to, you keep your enemies close, I guess. You keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I like to know what she's up to and what she's saying and what she's doing out there. So I do follow her, and all she keeps about the children at the border. Oh, the poor children at the border being ripped out of the arms of their parents, and oh, the death of children at the border. Children. Oh, my heart goes out to the children. Oh, let's abort them. Does this make any sense? She's so concerned about the children at the border. So concerned. But she also wants to kill them right up until birth. So, I know my demographics are 50% male and 50% female. So 50% of you, there's a good chance that 50% of you, probably not all of you, but women, but a lot of you have had children, right? And when a baby is born, they got all their toes, their fingers, they're a little tiny human being. Well, she thinks that they ought to be able to abort them right after birth, right up to and including birth. Yeah. Just more more hypocrisy? Why is she going on and on and on about the poor children at the border, poor children? Oh, let's abort them. I don't get it. I don't get it. Well, I do get it. That's a problem. I do get it. All right, and then there's this from Donald Trump Jr. Ford cancels a $1.6 billion Mexico plant and adds 700 jobs in Michigan. Good news. We just keep winning. That's really, really good news, and especially for Michigan. 700 jobs will come in handy there. Absolutely. They've been hit hard by the automobile industry, so it's great news. And then there's this. Let's look at this. No, really, let's look at it. Well, where is it? That's not it. I don't know where the tweet went. Don't know. It's a mystery. I don't know. I don't know what happened to that tweet. Let's see if it comes up one more time. I'll try. Had to have been something good. I wouldn't have given you junk now. I don't know. I don't know what that tweet was because it's gone. Oh, it's this. It's this. You have to see this. Speaking of creepiness, absolutely creepiness. Listen to this. This was recorded on an iPhone in slow motion, and listen to the sounds. It's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre. I'm not going to play all of it, but it's really weird. Here, let me make this a little bit bigger for you so you can... You just might as well enjoy the creepiness. Embrace it. Get yourself right scared. All right. Here we go. Again. She does that through the whole thing, plays with her teeth. And the thing is, she looks like she's had work done because she does look good for her age. She looks awesome for her age. But I don't understand why she doesn't get dentures that actually fit, because she's got this habit of playing with her teeth and it looks awful. And I noticed, especially when you slow this down, you can really see her playing with her teeth. So it's just bizarre. The whole thing is bizarre because you've got Chucky over here who doesn't blink. And it freaks me out, man, because it's like, oh, ow. It's painful to even watch somebody that doesn't blink. It is, because you're like, blink, dang it. But anyway, and then you've got her who's just plain creepy, like her body never moves. She just like, I don't know. I've never seen the likes of it before, and I'll probably never see the likes of it again. But it was weird. And when you slow this down, this was from somebody's iPhone that they slowed down. It sounds like growling and hissing and just weird. I'm sure it's some sort of acoustic anomaly, but it's still weird. I don't care who you are. All right, let's go back here. And this from Paul Joseph Watson. For the first time in its history, the American Psychological Association, APA, says traditional masculinity is harmful. Traditional masculinity marked by stoicism, competitiveness, dominance, and aggression is, on the whole, harmful. Excuse me. And then he adds, this is why the West is collapsing, and I tend to agree. I don't know why there is this, well, I do know, in a sense, why there is this war on masculinity, but it is an all-out war. Women calling masculinity toxic. We've been, there's been men and women since the beginning of time, right? Why all of a sudden is it a bad thing to be a man? I don't get that. And why is masculinity toxic? Don't get it. I really, they're making all of the characters on television and so forth are very weak males, and that is what they're pushing. The Jim Acosta type. Did I say that with my outside voice? I think I did. All right. Let's go back. Because we can. Let me put down my tea. All right, and let's take a look at this. Or let's not. No, let's. I like this, which is why I'm showing it to you. Look at this. All these people are using the term vanity project. I mean, as if they got that specific word in their 4 a.m. drop. That's what I would assume. Look at CNN Politics. This is a crisis of the president's own making. Democratic Senator Kamala Harris says about President Trump's calls for an increase in border security, which she calls a vanity project. Vanity project. Yeah, it's not about keeping us safe. Just a vanity project. Senator Kaine don't want to waste money on president's vanity project. Okay. Vanity project. And then this from the Situation Room. The Trump shutdown is wholly on Donald Trump, who wants this vanity project that he promised the Mexicans would pay for, says Senator Blumenthal. He has failed to spend the money that's already been appropriated, that $1.3 billion, only 6% of it spent on border security. Vanity project. Oh, and here's Face the Nation. Max Rose for New York calls a border wall a vanity project. He says it's a 5th century solution to a 21st century problem. Then asks, you want to also bring back horses to the United States Cavalry? Bring some rowboats to the Navy? Well, sure. Why not? I like a good ride in a rowboat. Yep, like a good horseback ride too. Absolutely. Bring them on. Well, yeah, I guess Obama is, the wall that he put around his house, that must be a 5th century solution to a 21st century problem. Somebody maybe should tell him and Maxine Waters and Pelosi and the rest of them that these, walls around their house are so 5th century. They're so 5th century. Yeah. So anyway, vanity project. That must have been the 4 a.m. drop. That would be my inclination anyway. All right, and here from Allie Beth Stuckley. Well, that's interesting. If this is true, Nancy and Chuck said in their address last night that if Trump opens the government, then they'll talk securing the border. I guess that was, gasp, a lie. Yeah, it was a lie. Everything, it seems, that comes out of their mouth lately is a lie. And this from Joe M. Remember, Chucklehead was summoned by Trump back in January 2018, shown evidence against him and told to do as directed or else? That gutless speech last night with Skanky Nancy would have been pre-approved. Would have been pre-approved. He is playing his role to strategically asphyxiate the Democratic Party on live TV. Now, I remember that, actually, and I wonder if that is the case, because this is way, way over the top. I'm wondering if part of that is them destroying their own party and being made to do it because Trump's got so much over them, especially, well, I'm not going to say especially Chucklehead, because Nancy, she's got a lot of stuff on her too. So I don't know. But QAnon suggests that Schumer was told something in last week's White House meeting that had him shaking in his boots. Remember that? That was a year ago. That's why he suddenly backed down. on the shutdown, and that was last year. Well, yeah, this could be all staged because, to tell you the truth, I find it really hard to believe. I really do. That was some display. Anyway, let's move on. Let's go to this because we can. Schumer says that Trump slammed the table, walked out of a meeting, and called it a waste of time after Nancy Pelosi said she wouldn't agree to a border wall. I effing love our president. Yeah, that's not exactly, if you listen to other people describe it and then these people, it's a little bit telling, if you ask me. And then watch her. I mean, seriously, did she take lessons at looking that stupid, or is she just like that naturally? I'm just wondering. Like, she must have taken lessons. All right, let's listen to this.
And he said, if I open up the government, you won't do what I want. That's cruel. That's callous. And that's using millions of innocent people as sort of pawns. And it was wrong. And then a few minutes later, he sort of slammed the table. And when Leader Pelosi said she didn't agree with the wall, he just walked out and said, we have nothing to discuss. So he said it was a waste of his time.
Well, yeah, would be a waste of my time. But notice how, now, if Chuckles is acting, I don't think Pelosi is, because that looks like a woman who thinks she's gotten away with something. She just looks like, I'm so delighted with myself. Oh, I love myself. Really, like that's the way she looks here. It's like, oh, I'm so pleased with myself. I went poo-poo by myself in the toilet today. That's the type of expression that it gives me. It's like, I did it by myself. I did poo-poo. I did poo-poo by myself. All right.
And he said,
look at this expression.
If I open up the government, you won't do what I want. That's cruel. That's
If that's not an I just went poo-poo in the potty toilet, I don't know what is. I'm just saying. All right, let's go back and see what else. Now, this came from an anon, and it says, the speech may have been a necessary step before declaring the wall a national emergency, cannot be properly addressed by use of existing law. POTUS just put Congress on notice to pass law for the wall. If they don't, he can prove border security cannot be properly addressed using existing law. And, here we have national emergency definition, a situation beyond the ordinary which threatens the health or safety of citizens and which cannot be properly addressed by the use of other law. In the United States, powers were interpreted from constitutional documents to vest in the president to declare a national emergency. Sorry, it's a little bit blurry and a little bit small for me to read, but there you have it. Perhaps this is just a step. And then we have this. Spouses, accomplices always jump ship when the utility of their partners has expired and justice has finally caught up to them. Expect Bezos to step down soon, the retail empire that sucked entrepreneurialism out of America and that they let him run will soon be broken up. Of course, it was in the news today that Jeff Bezos and his wife Mackenzie are divorcing after 25 years. Interesting. The timing, interesting. And this is interesting too. It's kind of a little bit off. Well, it's not really off topic. It's Q related. Former Facebook employees compare company to cult. Interesting. Have you ever seen that movie, The Circle? If you haven't, you should watch it. It's a very good movie, and I don't know if that's who it was meant to, that's who it was meant to portray. I don't know, but it was a very interesting movie. Former Facebook employees compared the company to a cult in interviews with CNBC, with one declaring, "Even if you are effing miserable, you need to act like you love this place." CNBC compiled a number of similar comments from former Facebook employees Tuesday who likened the big tech company to a cult where they always had to pretend to be enjoying themselves. "There's a real culture of, even if you are effing miserable, you need to act like you love this place," claimed one former employee. "It is not okay to act like this is not the best place to work. I never felt it was an environment that truly encouraged authentic self and encouraged real dissent, because the times I personally did it, I always got calls," declares a former manager. Another employee who left in 2017, let me get rid of this. Well, maybe I can't. Hate that. Proclaimed, "What comes with scale and larger operations is you can't afford to have too much individual voice. If you have an army, the larger the army is, the less individuals have voice. They have to follow the leader." Employees were also allegedly forced to be very mindful of the image they portrayed to management, with one former employee claiming, "People are very mindful about who they're connecting with on Facebook, who they also work with, and how they're posting will put them in a favorable light to their managers. There's so many people there who are unhappy, but their Facebook posts alone don't reflect the backdoor conversations you have with people where they're crying and really unhappy." And, I think that that's true of other places as well. I've had places where, people from work follow you on Facebook and you're like, probably not a good idea, but how do you say no if it's your boss or whatever? Yeah. In 2016, former Facebook product manager Antonia Garcia Martinez also likened the company to a cult, comparing CEO Mark Zuckerberg to Jonestown cult leader Jim Jones. Wow. "Facebook is full of true believers who really, really, really are not doing it for the money." Excuse me. "And really, really will not stop until every man, woman, and child on earth is staring into a blue bannered window with a Facebook logo," he claims. Zuckerberg founded the Church of a New Religion. Wow, interesting. So that doesn't surprise me, because a lot of companies are like that, especially tech companies. They really do. They carry the corporate culture to an extreme, and I have worked places like that, unfortunately. All right, and I'm sure you have as well. Let's go back. This is interesting. Not sure what to think of it, but it's interesting. Again, excuse me. I don't know where this cough is coming from. Okay. This is, somebody took a screenshot of Chuckles and Pelosi here. And we've got 6 flags behind them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Excuse me. We've got 6 stars here, and we've got 6 white stars here, 6 white stars here, 6, 6, 6. Now, you would think that if that was not intentional, somebody would have noticed that, but they did not, and it went to air that way, and I thought it was a very odd setup at the time. Now, I didn't notice that, but I did think it was it was just very oddly set up, the whole thing. It looked odd, it sounded odd, everything about it was odd. Anyway, I will wrap up here if I'm not going to be able to stop coughing, because that is annoying to everyone, especially me. All right, let's go down to this. Since 1972, the government has built over 3,000 miles of sound walls along our highways to protect nearby homeowners from traffic sounds. These walls cost about $2 million per mile. The government has spent over $6 billion on them. Why can't we have a wall? Please tell me why we can't have a wall. Doesn't seem to make sense, does it? It doesn't. If the government can spend $6 billion on walls to protect homeowners from traffic noise, why can't it spend $5 billion to protect our lives? Good question. I think we need some answers. And This from Dan Bongino. Rod Rosenstein to leave the DOJ once new attorney general is confirmed. So that is in the news today. And interestingly enough, we've got this tweet from Donald Trump. And he misspells forest twice with RR. And we know how Trump, he is the master troller. We know that, and that's what we like that about him. So, is he alluding to the Rod Rosenstein? Could be. That was at 8:38 this morning. He tweeted that out about the state of California forest fires and mentioned that twice. Rod Rosenstein. I think it could be related, seeing as this is also in the news that he's stepping down or that he's leaving. So, there you go. Well, I'm going to wrap that up there. I don't want to belabor this because I'm sure you don't want to listen to me cough through the news. If you do, there's something wrong with you. Anyway, that is it for this evening. I may be back if I can get this cough under control. Will be back with another video. No, really, I will. So you guys have a great evening. I hope you're doing well. Let me know how this new setup works for you. If you can hear me okay, if you can see me, if I'm too close, whatever. And I will talk to you guys real soon. Have a great evening. Stay safe, stay well, stay blessed. Talk to you soon.